Welcome back to Light Beyond the Ashes, the podcast where science meets spirituality and awakening becomes embodied. I'm your host, Amber Humphrey. A spontaneous spiritual awakening changed Tiffany Dotson's life forever. As a longtime public school educator and leader, she spent years serving children of all abilities from inside a system she believed was helping them thrive. But when the veil lifted, everything changed. The children are struggling, educators are overwhelmed, and the old ways of doing things are no longer working. In this episode, Tiffany shares how awakening shattered the illusion, accelerated her healing, and called her to become a voice for change in education, leadership, and the collective awakening unfolding across our world. Light Beyond the Ashes starts now. Welcome back to Light Beyond the Ashes, the podcast where we talk about all things spiritual and science. And this week, we're going to dive into education. And I am so excited to bring on Tiffany Dotson. She is a public school teacher of 13 years. She taught some high schoolers and she's taught junior high for the last several years. And I am just so excited to bring you on and get your perspective on being an awakened soul in the public education system. Welcome, Tiffany.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I am so excited too. So tell us a little bit about how we met. How did this whole thing get started so everyone knows?
Okay, so I started going through my awakening probably 2 or 3 years ago, and, I just felt like something was not right with everything around me, and I was like, "I'm gonna research into this." So I started getting online and started researching these topics, and I'm like, "There has to be other people that are out there experiencing what I am, because there's no way I'm one out of" how many people do they say we have on the 8 billion people?
7 or 8 billion people. Yeah, something like that
Yeah,
now.
so I'm like, "I'm gonna search for this." And I really started finding answers and people just like you on TikTok. I'm like, "That's kinda similar to what I have," and just snowballing. I've been kind of behind the scenes per se. I don't post a lot. I kind of, breadcrumbed little things here or there. Um, but I've just really been in the back observing and seeing, other people's awakenings and seeing similarities in them and seeing the differences in my own. But just I resonated with your frequency. You're just so calming to me, and I love that you work with children. I love oh my gosh, your studio.
Thank
Can
you.
I come there when I'm overstimulated? Because yesterday I was crying my eyes out. I was like, "I really like that little gym area she had." I'm like, "That's really cool," and it's just I love that.
Oh, yeah. Open door pediatric therapy has been such a conduit for healing for myself and for so many others. And I think that we call in the frequency of other healers that are like minded. So the fact that you found me and then we resonated together and had
Mhm.
our first phone call, and I was like, oh, yes, we need to chat. So,
Yes. Alright.
all right. So, Tiffany, tell me a little bit about your spiritual awakening. You said that yours started 2 years ago. Mine was 3 years ago, and it was really hard and fast and came out of nowhere. What was yours like?
I say 2 years, it's between 2 and 3. I was dealing with a lot of things in my personal life on top of teaching, on top of being a mom, and I started passing out all the time. I was passing out
Oh,
left and
wow.
right. Doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, and I was like, "I guess it's just my life," but honestly, it was my nervous system. I recognize it now, but I was on so many medications. I was on every kind of antidepressant, anti whatever, and am I allowed to say the thoughts that I had when I was on those medications? 'Cause,
Yeah,
those I started that medication probably when I was 18 years old. I'm 40, I'm getting ready to turn 41. I was on them the majority of my adult life. Can I send you pictures and we'll just put them up there? I was
sure.
246 pounds. I'm down to 173 now from this point of my awakening, because got off all the medications. I stopped eating the foods that I saw as poison. I went into grocery stores. I'm like, why are there so many options? Why are we just doing these things? And I started questioning things.
Mhm.
Because why can a doctor not tell me why I'm passing out? Why am I paying these medical bills? Why do I have all of this stuff happening and no one can tell me what's wrong? So I went looking for my own answers. The last time I remember passing out that was so significant, I ended up in the ER because I ended up breaking this bone in my face. I don't like doctors, hospitals anyway, so I didn't go at first. But by the afternoon, I blew my nose and my whole cheek poofed up, and I was like, "Oh, that's not good." I was like, "That's not good at
Oh, no.
all." That started the whole thing. But I will say that moment I passed out, it was in my kitchen. I hit my face on the counter and I didn't just pass out. That knocked me out. I'm shaking talk about this because I don't share this part often. I literally saw myself from above the ground. I'm saying it's my higher self, saw myself and I said, "Get the up." And I woke up And then that's kind of when everything was like, "This isn't normal, this something's different."
Yeah.
Fast forward a little bit of time, I started seeing all these repeating numbers. When the numbers
Mhm.
start, I thought I was losing my mind. I called my mom, called my friends. I was like, "I feel like Bruce Almighty and Heaven Almighty." I was like, "What is happening?" I was like, "This is real." And people are like, "You're just whatever." And I'm like, "No, this is genuinely happening." I've got 2 phones because I thought I was losing my mind. I was like, "I'm gonna document all this because 'cause I'm a sped teacher and I'm gonna figure it out." Exactly what I did. So, the last couple years, I've documented every single sign, synchronicity, conversations, and everything, and it has just snowballed to where I am sitting today, leaving education because 'cause I'm supposed to talk about it.
For those of you who can't see her shirt, it says public education and it's crossed out education. It says indoctrination, public indoctrination. And I think
Right.
that's a very bold statement. But for those of us who have been going through the awakening and we can see through the veil, we can see through control, and we remember where the history of education started. And you go back into the early 1900s and you start realizing that there was a lot of push for civil workers to be obedient, to follow the rules, to not question authority, to follow certain kinds of programming of thoughts and beliefs of what our history is in our country. And as somebody who did not know the true history of our country until I went to college, and learned about the indigenous, populations and what we actually did versus this glossed over beautiful idea of Thanksgiving and Christopher
Mhm.
Columbus and John Smith and all of these things. And you're like, oh dear God, things are not okay. I think that you can kind of start to see where we're coming from when you are questioning it when you have your own children in public
Yes.
education or you're in the systems. And like my sisters are teachers. I deeply love teachers. I think
Mhm.
that teachers go into teaching because they want to help kids learn. And the systems that we have, I'm in Texas, you're in Tennessee,
Kentucky.
Kentucky, you're in Kentucky. And we have seen education go downhill because of standardized testing. And you have AI in the classroom and you've got technology in the classroom. These kids are in front of technology constantly and what it's
Mhm.
doing to their brains. And as a pediatric occupational therapist and you're in sped, like we are seeing the impact of this on our children and what's happening. And our children are really hurting. So I think as being an awakened person, we're not only seeing like, "Hey, I'm awake," and I like, "Isn't everybody else awake?" And they're not. But you see the kids, and I'm like, "Is anybody actually paying attention? Because the kids are not okay. Like, the kids are actually not okay." Is that what happened for you?
That's exactly what it is, and that's why for anybody watching that knows me, I'm gonna look straight in the camera and tell you guys, like, seriously, like, these kids are not okay. They are not.
No.
We are creating systems where they are gonna continue to be workers for the bigger picture. We are so
Mhm.
small in this. There's people in power that have controlled and figured out all these systems, and that's why God's coming in. He's like, "Enough is enough." That's how I see it.
Mhm.
Like, I talk to God all day, every day, and he's like, "I gave you that voice, and you're going to use it." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah. Oh, I got
Okay.
full chills on the left side of my body because I really want to hone in that people who have this divination of being able to hear the voice of God are not going crazy. We're not losing our minds. I'm going to look again directly in the camera. We're not losing our minds that we can hear the voice of God. You can do this. I can do this. We can all do this. We have just been numbed and dulled to where we don't think that we can.
That part.
And if you do, you are accused of being crazy.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I think it's crazy to believe this system for 1 minute longer.
that part.
Done. Like, I watch children self-harm.
Mhm.
I've seen
I have too.
children self-harm. I've seen the wounds of children who have done self-harming. I work with children who don't want to be alive. I work with 10-year-olds with autism who don't want to be alive anymore. That's not okay. And if we as a country cannot pause and reflect and think there might be something going wrong, then we are not doing our children a service. We are doing them absolute disservice by ignoring their feelings and working on emotional regulation with special needs children and typical developing children. I'm telling you, they are not okay. And I really do think that these kids are needing people to finally wake the hell up and step up to the plate and realize that that there's something that's not going right. And I think it's maybe it's the awakened collective. Maybe it's the awakened teachers, the awakened therapists, the awakened administrators who are here to make a difference, to be
That
like,
part.
we have to do something better for everybody.
Mhm.
And so, I'm really proud of you because I think it takes a lot of fearlessness to step into this arena and for you to have been in the system for a really long time and to be willing to speak out. And like, what kinds of experiences have you had with your special needs population that you work with as being an awakened soul? Do you feel like you connect with them differently
You
than
gave me
other people
chills.
do? Because I do.
Okay, so that's the part that really excites me, and that's the part that, like, has kept me in there for so long. Cause like, I love kids. Like, this is literally killing me not to work with them so closely, but I know kinda like the mask thing, you're on the plane, you have to put your mask on before you can save the rest of them. Like, I have
Mhm.
to be that person because 'cause I've seen too much. I know my calling from God, like, that'll come out later of all of that, but just knowing that sorry, I got a squirrel brain. Just knowing that I'm advocating for kids because I see them on a soul level is what ultimately pushed me out the door. Because I was like, "I can't keep teaching them this stuff when I know what their souls are saying." I know that I'm gonna sound crazy, but kids talk to me telepathically. Like,
Mhm.
I hear
Me too.
I literally have had conversations with kids, and I say that, and they're like, "How'd you know that?" I'm like, "I don't know." And I just kinda, like, act like I don't know, but, like, I can talk to kids telepathically.
The
I
telepathy tapes share this,
Yeah,
right? This is, like, known now. Like, we can stop trying to debunk it. It's just true. We have
yeah.
a one unified field of consciousness, and telepathic communication is what our souls used to do, and
Mhm.
now we're getting back into that, and this is just a known psi phenomenon, but it is not to be, um, mocked, period.
That part. Because here's another thing. It's not just kids' thoughts that I hear. Like, I can literally walk down the hallway and I can I can hear what people are saying. I'm like, "This is why I keep to myself." I literally ended up in a portable, filled with mold. Let's talk about the conditions of school buildings and depending on what side of
Mhm.
the wherever you are, I don't understand why there's differences, like, why certain kids get access to certain things depending on where they're located per se.
Right.
Schools with mold, like, the fluorescent lights, why are we
Mhm.
trapping children? Like, why are we doing that? We're not learning who they are. This is going back, sorry, my ADD is everywhere. Um, Back to the kids, like, I talk to them on a soul level, and I get to learn their interests, and then I'm actually hearing them, and then they're coming back to me because 'cause I'm their safe space. And I
Mm.
feel like a lot of teachers, like, I hope nobody thinks I'm dissing teachers at all. Like, I know the heart
No.
is in it. It's the
Yeah.
system in place. It's the procedures that we are told we have to follow, that make it impossible to teach. So I kinda went rogue. I'm just gonna say, like, I did what kids needed to do. Like, you want me to teach these kids 6th grade content, but they can't tell me the 4 coins. They can't
Yeah.
tell me letter sounds. I'm sorry, I don't care about your systems. I don't. Like, I was there and I was teaching kids. I was building relationships with them, like, the families, all the things. Like, I just don't see them as what the government sees them as, essentially. It's the best way I can think about it.
Yeah,
Like
and
workers.
I really do. Right, right, and I think that when we take away individual free thinkers, like my daughter is almost 14,
Mhm.
and she wants to be on the podcast, and I'm so
Aw,
excited.
I love that.
She's neurodivergent, she's part of the LGBTQ community, and she is this light in these schools, right? And, like, just the stories that I have been told about what it was like when she went to the quote, unquote, "rich school," for which we were zoned to. Then we got rezoned to an older school that had less resources, and, like, they ran out of ink and paper the
Yeah.
last, like, 2 months of school, and they were asking parents to pay for it, and I'm like, "Wait, what? What is happening?" Like, she's like, "Oh, mom, we don't have the resources," and then I go to the art festival, and I'm like, "Oh, there's that other school, and here's all of the resources they had," and then you see her school, and I'm like, "It's not a bad school, we're still in the same exact neighborhood, we've lived there for 14 years, yet
Yeah.
the resources that each school gets," and it's like you can see a school that's on the wrong side of the tracks, quote, unquote. You can see a school who's got a different cultural, makeup that has less resources. You have these standardized testing for which my patients are having panic attacks about. Like, I
Mhm.
am not even kidding, and I work with all different types of kids, kids with ADHD, kids with autism, kids with developmental delay, and everything in between, right? And they are having panic attacks about standardized testing.
Yep.
And I'm like, "Why? Like, what are we doing? Like,
Exactly.
where is the education?" And then, by the way, when you have a school who performs poorly, oh, we're going to take resources away. We're going to
Mhm.
punish you versus like, oh, it seems like you might need more help. Here's more resources. Let me pour into you. Right. And the fact that the cost of a home in the area is what determines the cost of the school and what benefits these schools and the resources and the support the teachers get and the amount the teachers have to sacrifice of their own pocketbook
That
to
part.
fund these classrooms. And then we've got these in Texas multi-million-dollar stadiums. And I'm like, could we please redirect our attention back to the kids?
That part.
Like the kids could use multi-million dollars worth of, I don't know, arts and crafts,
Yeah.
music, arts that make them feel like theater, that make them feel creative and individual and support that. And my daughter just tells me how hard it is to be in junior high.
Yeah.
And she's going into high school and she's like, it's really hard out here, mom. The teachers are doing the best they can. She does have some great teachers who turn off the lights now. The fluorescent
Mhm.
lights are off and they have lamps in the classroom. Thank
Yeah.
God. Like they've shown studies what these fluorescent lights do
Mhm.
to people.
It's all by
Like,
design. I'm convinced of it.
oh,
They
my
have literally
God.
done this on purpose. They separate us by whatever they wanna come up with, whether it be color, area, economic status, like all these things, and they create that knowing that we are going to do it because we're human. But once all of
Mhm,
us wake up and realize, "Wait, that was part of their game instead of God's game." Not that God has a
mhm.
game, but you know what I mean, like God's plan for us, like, I really think more people are it's gonna be like the crickets versus grasshoppers.
Yeah, the ants versus the grasshoppers, yeah,
Ants versus grass
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, the ants versus the grasshoppers because there's more of
Bug's life.
us. There's more of us, the bug's life. There's more of us than there is them, and when are we gonna finally remember this? And it's not through hate, and it's not through, division, it's through unity, peace,
That
and
part.
love, and oneness. And so, how did your spiritual awakening really start to unfold in your life and, like, impact your ability to be a teacher and to be in these systems? Like, I really wanna know more, like, first about an awakening for you. What did you experience?
Um, First of all, it made it impossible to teach. I literally see my right ear's ringing talking about it. I was department chair for 6 or 7 years. I read every student's IEP in that building. I knew it frontwards and backwards. I did all the scheduling. I didn't conduct, I was part of interview committees for hundreds of people. I had principals and admin would come to me, ask questions about kids while still teaching. I did all of these things. I was team leader for groups of people, 14, 15. Like, I did more for my department chair job than I did my actually teaching job, and it was only a $1,600 stipend for the year, and I was busting tail because everyone knew that I had the integrity to do it right. I scheduled
Mhm,
kids based on their needs. I even worked with the admin to do the teacher schedules of what is it that they are great at that they can teach. Because if you know anything about education, special ed is not like a content area. We don't go into like language arts or math or whatever. We just encompass strategies to modify information. And I got thrown into a situation where I was teaching math because I'm a numbers person. I like learning strategies. I like math. I don't do good in big groups because, as you know, I'm an empath. My feet are tingling talking about it. Like I radiate so much electricity in my body at all
mhm.
times that those big spaces is too much for me. And previous admin had been like, "Yeah, like, just let her do resource or whatever." Well, all of this started happening, and then new administration came in. All these new people started coming in, and it was taken that I was being difficult instead of just advocating for myself of, like, I know what kind of teacher I am, and I know I'm not gonna do great at teaching X, Y, and Z. It didn't matter. It didn't matter what my preferences were. It just mattered about compliance, and I'm like, I'm not doing this just to check this off. And then when we get emails saying, oh, so and so is coming to observe, make sure you're X, Y, and Z. I don't do dog and pony shows. I want the people to see what's actually happening in the building. Because if you think it's just like a bad marriage, you think it's good on the outside, and then you find out, oh, there's holes in that person's walls. Like it's a
Mhm.
cover up. And I feel like a lot of the government stuff's just covered up. I mean, they're eating our children. That was a really big trigger for me, and I'm like, "The government's eating our children, you think I'm not gonna speak on it? Because I see what's happening inside of these buildings. I see teachers burn out, I see students doing what they're doing. Kids that it's a
And for
mess if
anyone
we
who's
don't fix it."
questioning And for anyone who's questioning or thinks what she just said was outlandish, I just encourage you to go read some files. There's some interesting files that might verify what she's saying. And I think that we should just care more about that. But, I think, as an awakened person being in these systems, you start to feel there's some oppression. Did you start to feel more oppressed within like schools, being in the school setting and seeing, just I don't want to call it mechanisms of control, but if you speak out or if you are a free thinker, even as a teacher, not a student, I feel like it's not really uh, encouraged.
That's why I'm leaving. That's why I'm leaving the profession. I will never go back into public education again. I've got 2 degrees. I have my bachelor's in art education. Couldn't find an art teaching job. Professor was like, "Have you ever thought about working with, identified students?" I'm like, because she noticed I would gravitate towards students who were identified with some sort of something. And I'm like, "Not really." But then that's why I went and got my master's in, found a job in that. Like, my entire life, I knew I wanted to be a teacher from the age of 5, and that's what really sucks about all of this. Like, I dedicated my entire life to education. I'm not one of those people who's like, "Oh, I didn't know." Like, I knew at 5 I was gonna be a teacher. I was a 3rd grader sitting in the hallways teaching kindergartners how to read. In middle school, I was part of things. In high school, I was part of things. Like, I had 2, like, I called regular jobs. Like, I worked in a paper factory for a month, and I worked in a hotel for a month. Wasn't it? I was like, "I'm a teacher." Like, "I'm gonna teach." So when I got to the point to where I couldn't function anymore, like, I was on FMLA leave last year. I took multiple no pay days. This year, it's hard telling how many no pay days I've taken, but God literally sits my butt down. He's like, "You're not going to work today." I would literally projectile vomit or end up in the bathroom as I'm going out the door. And I'm like, why can't I just go to work? Well, then it ended up being me spending hours a day channeling stuff. And he's like, "See, this is why you're not there being dysregulated because I'm giving you blueprints." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense."
So let's dive into that. Let's dive into what it's like when your body is no longer in alignment with the environments for which you find yourself in, and you're being called divinely to do something different. Tell me about what it was like when you started channeling. Because when I started channeling, that just changed my whole
Actually have the
life.
first one right here.
Let's go.
Like, maybe not the first one, but, like, when I really became intentional, when I was like, "Wait a minute, I'm here for something bigger than what I'm thinking." Because at first I was like, "Oh, this is cool, like, the world is different, like, it's all been" well, you know how it is, like, there's ups and there's downs. And I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
this reality is getting ready to change and I'm a part of it." So that's when I was like, "Okay, this is heavy." So my right ear's ringing. If people notice, like, ears ring, your body tingles. Like, I feel like on certain days, it's like I'm holding onto a car battery and also my tongue's on it. And it's like
Mhm.
you just get so much information. And I kind of the people that I've told about this, I talk about, like, the towers you see, the really tall towers, the radio towers. I consider myself kind of one of those. And it's like I'm getting information, and if I fine tune it, I get different things. Like, different
Mm.
angels talk to me, God talks to me, my ancestors talk to me, spirit, like all these things. Now, I've had to put a bubble around myself because as you know, there's some
Mhm. Energy goes both ways, baby.
and I had to discern who's actually good and who's not, and I've gotten that. Um, but no, this one I'll just give you Blood Moon 9/7/20 5/11/41. I was listening to Moonspell. Technology will crash, hospitals will crash, the government will crumble, there will be chaos and fear, power is being restored, God is angry. He is saying enough is enough, justice will be served not by man but by him. No weapon formed shall prosper. And like, touch not my anointed, right?
Much not my anointed snaps for that, because anyone who's tried to come up against me, like, I'm so sorry that I did not look like an adversary. I am one. I am the light.
I
I am the
know.
light and I cannot be defeated because I am pure-hearted, just like you are. Like,
Yeah.
and it is just the craziest experience to know that the systems that we find ourselves in that feel very oppressive to our spirit and our soul and our bodies are revolting. Our bodies are exhausted. We feel our nervous system is literally fried. We feel more disconnected from ourselves and others than ever before. But when you go through an awakening, which is prolonged, profound, deep healing of the body, mind, and soul, when you go there and you clear your vessel out, and you connect with the higher power for which our
Chills.
ancestors did for eons. Our ancestors didn't have TV. Our ancestors didn't have a black little screen mirror in their phone that they could just scroll all day long and like consume all this information from across the earth. Like, yes, it's connected us. It helped me meet you and us together. Like, this is helping. This technology can be used for good. However, it can be used for manipulation, control, and putting us into lower vibrational frequencies as well. Frequency is real. The study of cymatics proves that frequency is real. Frequency through music, frequency through messaging, frequency through fear. All of this is real.
Mhm.
And we are shifting and changing and evolving, and we're creating and building the new earth together. I heard something the other day that made me just like, my mind was like, of course, was that yes, we're saying that we're building a new earth, but I really think we're going back to the old earth.
That part.
The old earth that was peace, that was oneness, that was healing, that was love, that was we loved Gaia, we loved Mother Earth. We took care of all of creation because we remembered that we were part of all of creation, that we are literally one with the birds, the bees, the trees, and everything in between. Like we literally are one. What is that tattoo? What
I
is
have a
it?
bee tattoo. Of course, it's
A
got a
bee
bruise
tattoo.
on it. I was looking, I was like, yeah, because she's bruised today. I cried all day.
The bee is very, 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 very important as a sign and synchronicity for my good friend Julie, who I'm sure
Yeah,
will hear this. But we are the light, and we're walking through a really dark era. But it's exposing so rapidly. We're seeing corruption be exposed. We're seeing these billionaires, these corporations take and take and take and put in this infrastructure of control for all of us in so many different ways. And like we can't afford anything. We can barely afford to live.
that part.
Right. And so when you can barely afford to live and you're going through an awakening and you see things for how they are, like this is kind of an exciting time to be alive. Like
It really is.
get on the bus. Like, come on, it's
Yeah.
cool over
It
here.
really is cool because, like, I call myself a disruptor first, but I'm also a builder. And I also consider myself a bridge, which I'm sure you consider yourself a bridge. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like,
absolutely.
so I see it as like 3D normal world, whatever, not everyone, but the majority of people are seeing right now. And then there's me or people like you who are awake. And then there's the higher realms. And it's like we can stand in the middle and explain both because we've experienced. Whereas other people are kind of here and they don't know what's over here. It's like, well, let us tell you about it because it's really good
Mm.
over here.
We're so a bridge. And it really is. It's like the water is calmer over here, but everybody is like hitting these wave after wave after wave of all the energy, and they don't know it. They don't understand what's going
They
on.
don't.
They're just like, I don't feel like I belong. I don't feel like this environment's good. I don't feel like this relationship's good. I don't feel like this whatever. It doesn't resonate with their soul anymore, but they don't understand why.
We jump
And I'm like,
timelines.
because we jump
We've
timelines and you're
jumped a
not in
lot of
frequency
timelines
with those
lately.
people. You're not in frequency with those people anymore. It's not in resonance with you.
Mhm.
And me and you have the vibration of resonance because we can speak the same language, but not everyone can speak the same language. But every time I bring somebody on to the podcast, they speak a new language.
I like a lot of times I think of it as like you've got a doctor trying to explain brain surgery to a fifth grader. Like it's possible, but you just don't know that terminology. You don't have the vocabulary for it. So I think with me being an educator, my role has been to observe what's going on, take all this really intense information, modify it so it makes sense because that's what I've spent the last 13 years doing. And why, I mean, it's carrying over. I kind of laugh with God sometimes. He kind of tells me that I've been like a undercover CIA agent. It's like you've been in there. Think about it. I've taught all sorts of things. I've taught thousands of children, tons of families right where I'm at. And it's I'm gonna say it. Look up the district that I was at. We're one of the biggest ones and we're under fire right now, and there's a reason for it. It's divine timing. I am here to disrupt that stuff. I was part of focus groups. I've met so many different people. Um, my discernment is really good. And a lot of those
Yeah.
people that, that are not doing right by children, I think God's just gonna get them up out of that place. Egos are gonna
Yeah.
start crashing and they're gonna be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be in this profession. Maybe I should go
So
somewhere else.
what do you think you're going to do now that you're stepping out of the traditional role of being a teacher in education? What do you want to do?
So I ask God that all the time. I'm like, all right, you're having me do all these crazy things. What is it? I'm actually starting my own podcast. God has been very explicit about what he wants me to do. Um, I mean, kind of similarly to you, but I'm more of collecting data. I'm trying to get it on a mass scale. So I'm trying to come up with systems, websites, programs, whatever, to where people can put their stories in, and then I'm supposed to analyze it. I know I don't not meaning that creepily, but like see where people are. Are we just in the US? Which I don't know if you have gotten this or not, like essentially US being Babylon in the Bible, where
Mm-hmm.
we're in Revelations, like I know the spirit realm's a little higher, but I'm thinking Revelations 13 keeps popping up real heavy lately. Um, a lot of
Have you seen my channel message, Babylon Must Fall on TikTok?
I didn't see that one.
Girl,
Or did I?
yeah,
Wait, did I? I
that
don't know.
channel I'll have to send it to you. That channel message of Babylon Must Fall is like, this is the time. This is the
This
time. Right. This is where we're correcting. We're just correcting what has been distorted.
yes.
That's what I feel.
Um, so collecting all this data, but I'm just gonna say it. I, about a year ago, started hearing Restore Alexandria. I didn't know what
Mm.
Alexandria was. I didn't have a
Tell me.
clue because I didn't pay attention in social studies in class. Like, I loved math. I didn't start learning about history until about a year ago when all these random words started coming in my head. I'm like, I ain't never heard of this. So it all snowballed. And if you know anything about Alexandria, I know there was tons of things that took it out, but what was in Alexandria and why was it taken out?
Knowledge.
It's a
Lots
question.
of knowledge.
Tons of knowledge. So I started having past life visions of stuff, and I thought I was losing my mind at this point. Ended up finding someone online similar to you, resonated, and I was like, "I'm gonna have my Akashic records read because I was like, "This is really cool. I wanna know, why do I have these random words in my head? Why am I having these visions?" And then I did 7 of those. I was
And
like, "This is so cool." But I'm learning through meeting other people, not many people have, like, felt the need to do that, and I'm like, "Why is that?" And I'm putting a lot of pieces together. I'm like, "That makes a lot of sense, actually."
yeah, I think for me, it's the get curious, guys. Why are you not more curious? Why are you not more curious about the real history? Why are you not curious about your real human potential? Why are you not curious about quantum entanglement and quantum particles and like understanding that like there's this one thing that's over here and it's simultaneously across all time and space it's affecting this over here, and whether that
Yeah,
be soulmates or that's soul tribe or that's your higher self guiding you and telling you what to do and where to be. Like I don't know, it just feels magical.
it
It feels
is
absolutely
magical.
magical.
It's so
But it
cool.
and Yeshua, like they talk about Yeshua went to go like learn from Jesus went to go learn from the mystics. Like in that time frame between like there's this gap of where he was like learning before he came back. I think
Yeah,
at 33 or wherever it was, however old he was when he came back. And like thinking that we can use the power of our energy, of prana, of chi, our life force through Reiki, through um, qigong and tai chi and like building up
powerful.
your energy life force and your toroidal field. And I'm like, guys, I put my hands on people and they feel better.
Yeah,
Mm, I don't know. I have no earthly idea. My daughter was experiencing really, and my youngest was experiencing some UTI pain. And I'm like watching her. I'm like, okay, she's going to the bathroom. She's crying. It hurts so bad. I'm like, it's a Sunday. I can't get in anywhere other than urgent care. And I'm like, let's just see what we can do. And I put my hands on her belly and we're hanging out. She's watching TV. And I was like, do you want Reiki? And she's like, yeah. And I'm putting Reiki into her body and just sending her healing good vibes, if you
yeah,
will, like just love, the love of a mother saying, your body is healed, your body is whole. And I'm sending her all of the Reiki. And then all of a sudden she's completely and utterly fine and
yeah,
doesn't complain of any pain for the rest of the day. And in fact, ends up going to the bathroom and feeling a whole lot better. And I'm like, I look at my husband, he's like, "Yeah, I just believe it at this point in time." I'm like, "I know," because there's some self-doubt too of like what
yeah.
we can
Oh,
do as humans,
that part,
right?
the self-doubt, because I'm like, "There's no way I'm like, there has to be I'm making this up in my mind." Like, I went into
Mhm.
psychosis a couple times, I'll be straight with you. Like, I don't know how you
Yeah.
go through this and not go through psychosis because it's a huge reality change of thinking, like, you're indoctrinated your whole life to think you do this, this, and
Mhm.
this, and that's whatever, and then you wake up one day and you're like, that wasn't God's plan at all." Like, who sold me that? Um,
Let's talk about that real fast because I don't want to breeze past it because I think people will use that and be like, "Ah, see? Haha, she admitted to it," right?
what
No. The psychosis,
Oh,
spiritual
yeah.
psychosis. When you are in a low vibrational state of grief, shame, anger, guilt, resentment, self-loathing, self-abandonment, whatever, right? A lot of us experience this throughout our life. We feel terrible. And then you have this divine event happen, an awakening. And God, the light of God comes through you. You start hearing the voices of angels and ancestors and past loved ones, and you're like, what is happening? Right? It's a very profound
It
experience for which
is.
every single guest I have interviewed, it is not just me. Every single guest I've interviewed has had this similar experience. When they go through it, it takes you and shoots you way up into the higher realms.
Mhm.
It shoots you so high vibrationally. You are like in this state of euphoria. You're blissed out. You're like, oh my gosh, there's more. And like these people who have near death experiences will explain the same thing. They're like,
Mhm.
I know that I am love and I am not of here. That feels more real than here. People who
That
have
part.
DMT trips, that is more real up there in DMT world than it is here, right? And DMT has been studied for thousands and thousands of years, and they see the same entities, the same, and they get the same information. And so when you have to come back into reality, it's like, I don't want to. I want to live up there. This is like peace and love and harmony. And oh my God, it's so beautiful. And I'm getting channel messages. But you do have to ground it back in.
Yep.
You do have to come back and be that bridge between the lower vibrational state and the higher vibrational state and ground it in. So, how did you go through being way up in the clouds and the ether and coming back down? How did you navigate that?
Well, so my mom ended up having to stay with me for a month and a half when last year when I really almost I was done with life. Like I was like, I cannot do this anymore. What is the point? And then God was like, hey, but you'll just come back. So why like you better do
Mhm.
it now. So I'm like, okay. But just really grounding. I spend so much time in the bathtub. I spend so much time outside or in my car. I really don't talk to a lot of people that don't like resonate on the same frequency because it does bring me down and not in a good way. So I've been really intentional about the people that I interact with, the
Mhm.
conversations that I have, the music that I listen to, like just
Mhm.
really I hardly ever listen to the news because that'll send me into tailspin.
Mhm.
I'm just really cognizant about the energy that I input or output, and it's allowed me to stay grounded. All the
Yeah.
books that I've acquired, I don't know if your awakening's been like this, like, I've randomly gone places, I'm like, "Ooh, I need this thing," and, like, I've think got books on my bookshelf from college that God has led me to, and it's like, "Okay, open this book up and show this page," and I'm like, "Why do I still have this in my possession?" But that just
Mhm.
helps keep me grounded because it almost became a game. It's like, "Ooh, this is
Yeah.
actually fun." Like, what else am I gonna do
Yeah.
next? Like, every day's different. I still have my down days. Like, I still have days like yesterday. I mean, look at my eyes, they're so swollen still. I was texting my friend Sam. I was like, or calling her. She's been, ugh, I'll have to talk about my friend Sam. I've met my little soul tribe is amazing.
Mhm.
She's really good with like regulating my body and like keeping me grounded. I think we met probably 2 or 3 months ago and it was an instant. I saw
Mhm.
her videos on TikTok and her Kundalini videos. I was like, this bitch is as crazy as I am. I was like, she won't think I'm nuts if I tell her the truth. Cause like you tell people the truth and they're like, there's no way. And I'm like,
Mhm.
how do you expect me not to make it make sense? Cause like I literally would hand people my phones if I could and be like, here you go. Here's all my data. You tell me what you come up with this information and tell me if it's not the same. Hear my throat chakra. um, but just really in the knowing of A, my soul signed up for this. B, I'm never gonna quit once I have it in my mind of this is what I'm supposed to do. And C, this is way more fun doing it this way. Like, being
Yeah.
stuck in a box over there, being told when I have to do something, what I have to do, looking at kids stare at me, like, miserable, like, they don't wanna be there, I don't wanna be there, like, I don't know what God has me doing next. I just know it's not there. And I'm supposed to write books
Yeah.
about my awakening. I'm supposed to create resources for kids and just really be that bridge. So, I think pulling my retirement's really gonna help me hone in on what that exactly looks like.
I'm really proud of you.
Yeah,
I'm really proud of you for being fearless in the pursuit of your own truth and for doing what feels right for your soul and knowing that you can help these kids in a different way, right? And I think that that is the hard part. Like I want to help every single child I meet, right? But I know that I am absolutely limited if I just am like here sitting and like I'm just treating one person at a time
yeah.
versus creating resources, creating, you know, different learning opportunities for people. And so I don't know if you know this about me, but I love to regulate educators. Do you know this?
Love that.
Girl. All right. So I have created a program. Emotional regulation is for everyone, tips and tricks for teachers in the classroom. And I go into schools. Right now, it's been private schools. Public schools, really kind of hard to break into, not going to lie. But my goal, my vision is that I'm going to be traveling the country, going around and going into schools and educating the educators on how to regulate themselves and the administrators and the classrooms. Because if you can just utilize nervous system regulation tools that take 30 to 60 seconds to do for your whole classroom, that's going to save you so much more time than the 35-minute meltdown that the kid is throwing chairs across the room. My sister was getting chairs thrown at her, kids running across the classroom, running across the tables, eloping out of the classrooms, screaming and cussing in first grade. First grade was the worst behavior ever. Like if you need to have Xanax and or Zoloft to go to work as a teacher, there might be a problem. Like let's just take a pre-K pause, like our fun friend from TikTok says. Let's take a pre-K pause and let's think, if I am so dysregulated that I, as a teacher, as an administrator, I'm having a panic attack driving to work, going into the classroom because I am terrified of the 25 dysregulated children that are not all special needs. They're actually quote unquote neurotypical children who are losing their ish each and every day, that I cannot actually teach them the content for which I'm being told to teach them, that then I'm getting punished if they don't pass a STAR test, but they're not regulated. Like I see this.
Yep.
I go to IEPs. My daughter had an IEP. Like my children have extra needs. Like I am a mother of an extra needs child who gets all of the therapies in school and outside of school, right? Or was being assessed for school, but didn't qualify for school therapies, right? But
Yeah.
she's dyslexic and can't read and has ADHD off the charts and sensory processing and emotional dysregulation, right? Like that's really tough, but she masks all day at school so they don't see it. But she comes home and she loses her mind because she's been masking all day because girls mask, women mask,
I
right?
mask
We mask
all day. That's why when I come home, I crash.
You crash. I literally like you give so much of yourself and then you walk in your home and you melt into the floor and you crash either from physical, emotional, or mental pain. And I'm like, hi, my name's Amber. I'd really like to help everybody. Want to help?
Yeah.
like, like, what are we doing? And I'm excited about the future, Tiffany, because it takes people like us, the change makers, the people who are the rebels, who people think are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but we're not. We're totally lucid, oriented times 4. I can tell you every single thing you need to know. I'm a highly educated person, and so are you. You've got your master's, and I have my master's. Yet we went through spiritual awakenings and we learned more.
Yeah.
And all we're here to do is show the truth, teach the truth, and help people heal their own body, minds, and souls. Right?
That
Do you
part.
agree completely with all this?
I'm agreeing with all of this because, like, it's our nervous system that literally drives us. Because when I'm okay, I can do anything. But if you put me in this toxic environment, I'm not allowed to speak because I have 2 binders this thick of policies, and retaliation is insane. So teachers don't speak. They literally have it in their mindset. I have to pay my bills, and I'm not trying to call anybody out, but like some people just turn a blind eye. They're like, I have bills to pay. And I'm like, I can't do that. My integrity is I just can't. I cannot look at all these kids and see that they're not learning. And it's not everywhere. Like there are good teachers, there are good schools, and this isn't a jab at everybody, but as a whole, we are failing children and we are screwed if we as adults don't do something because they're not going to be able to figure it out later. What skills do they possess? They will not. If we as adults don't change it right now, we're cooked.
Right. And they're looking at, I think it was Gen Z, and I think what is it, Gen Alpha now is the little ones, right? They're like, this is the first generation that are not smarter than their parents. They are not more advanced than the generation above them. And I'm
We're
like,
cooked.
oh dear God. Yeah. And the phrase of the youth, we're cooked.
We're cooked.
If we don't do something, we're cooked. And as someone who my passion is nervous system regulation, it is a thing that I get so nerdy about because I just love how effective it is. I watch what happens when you just use your body as your tool, and medicine is a tool in the toolbox, but medicine doesn't necessarily solve it. Like it's a tool, but your body was meant to help heal you. And it's like, I'm just teaching body somatic healing and it's been incredible. Guess what, Tiffany? A child can't learn if they don't feel safe. And kids don't feel safe because they don't have enough food. Kids don't feel safe because they don't have environments that are safe. Kids don't feel safe because their parents are so dysregulated when they go home. Their parents are working multiple jobs and they don't have enough money to pay for their bills, and they feel the tension and the stress of all of this, especially if you're in a lower economic status group. Kids don't feel safe because of the country that we live in, that their neighbors don't feel safe that they're not going to get taken when they're going to the bus stop. They don't feel safe when their parents are going to be taken when they're doing drop off. They don't feel safe. Period. Full stop. Children don't feel safe. What should we do as a society?
We're the adults.
Change that.
Yeah. We are the adults. If we are not going to come together as adults and look at it as a whole and see that there are a very small amount of number of people that are controlling this who do not have to worry about their bellies being full, what they're learning, because they have their little whatever. Like the rest of us are not the rest. You know what I'm saying? The majority, it's struggling. It's not okay. And if we don't fix it, who's going to? And I can't sit by
Truly.
and watch it. I'm sorry. I can't. I can't. My daughter's 11, she'll be growing up soon, like, what else am I gonna do with my life?
Yeah, and if all it means is being an awakened person is that I care enough to be called crazy.
Yeah,
I care enough to challenge the norms. I care enough to have a solution to a really big problem. Fine, call me crazy. I don't care.
that
I do not care that you call me crazy. I'm awake. You're
awake.
awake.
Yes,
And being awake, you want to be a change maker
yes.
because you're tired of it, because it hurt your body. You see how it's affecting your own children. And then you go into a classroom or you go into a therapy space and you see the children and the parents deeply struggling. You see the administrators deeply struggling, and everyone's just trying to get by. And again, what you said earlier, oh, I just got to pay my bills. Can't ruffle feathers. I can't challenge this. I'm like, what is it going to take for our nation to wake the hell up?
That part.
Like, I
More people
truly
like
thought
me pulling our retirements to where they're broke and they have no teachers, and they're like, "What are we gonna do?" Maybe start
yeah.
listening to the people
Dude,
that are in the classrooms.
if the teachers did a nationwide
I'm
strike, can
telling
you
you.
imagine how effective that would be?
I'm telling you, I'm gonna start selling these shirts. I'm these daggone technology. I used to make sure like, I just did this one in my kitchen with my
Did
Cricut.
you?
Like, I'm crafty, but, like, Printify, like, all that things those things, I'm trying to, like, merge them because like, I do wanna make a statement. I want to have groups of people that come together and have these conversations because if we don't, they are going to continue to own our children. We come out of the womb and get a number labeled to us.
Mhm.
They track us. They know everything about us. I'm not convinced that they're not tracking me, honestly, with the stuff that goes into my phone and the thoughts that I have. Like, there's some stuff I won't even put in my phone because God said, absolutely not. There is no evidence of that. That comes later. See, my left ear started ringing. I've got some pretty heavy stuff. Like, I've seen some things of what's coming and it's not great, but afterwards it is.
Yeah,
Um,
100%. I'm gonna drop the name real fast, Sabrina Wallace. I'm not gonna say anything else. Sabrina Wallace, if you don't think that the technology can track you, go look up Sabrina
I don't
Wallace
know
and all
that.
the things that she talks about. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a rabbit hole that you're gonna love. And
Okay.
she knows so much about the technology that's being used
Hmm.
in our biofield and the little Apple Watches that are so cute and all your little Fitbits and all the things that are tracking you.
All of
Like
it.
maybe go look into that. Maybe just like be a little
Yeah.
curious.
And like,
Be a little curious about all the wearables that you're wearing and what they're doing with that information.
that part. Well, you see cars, I guess after 2027, they're talking about all cars are gonna be smart cars and they can turn it off. Like, they're controlling us. What don't people get?
And the gas with the E15, the ethanol 15, that's like people's cars are stalling literally in the parking lot after they get it. And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, weird that your car just now doesn't work and you have to buy a new car. And in 2027, if your pupils are too dilated, you might not be able to start your vehicle. That's weird. Because if my kid had a broken arm for which she did, and her arm was in a shape of an S, I got in the car and I bet you anything my eyes were a little dilated. I was
yeah,
probably a little scared that my daughter's arm is broken in two spots, completely both fractured her bones. And I'm like, I'm going to get in my car and it won't start. Like,
it's crazy.
guys, this is so much bigger than education. Education is a part of it. Healthcare is a huge part of it.
Yes,
Every single system that you just trust, maybe get curious and learn more.
that
It's
part. Because there's how many heads to the beast? 7 heads to the beast, and I'm not convinced that education isn't one of the top ones. Like,
yeah, there's a lot.
chopping
There's a
everything
lot.
off. Let me ask you this
Like,
question. What do you think about have you ever heard or have you heard that this is, like, the 7th and final reset?
I do know that there are cyclical resets that happen every 12,000 some odd years. And that you go, I don't know how many there are. I think that we are infinite and eternal. And I think that what happens is that we go through cycles of an infinity loop. Let's just picture an infinity loop, right? There's the whole cycle of light, then it goes back and it devolves into darkness. And then it goes back and it evolves into light. And we learn, we forget, we remember, we forget over and over again. And I don't know if there is a finite amount of cycles for creator. I think that creator is very curious through us. And I think that what we call Earth School, Dolores Cannon will call it Earth
Sure.
School. You come down here and you learn about Earth. And the human is a vessel for which there's a lot of capacity to learn the depth and breadths of human emotions. And our soul was curious enough and advanced enough to sign up to be able to be here on earth in this moment in time. And we reincarnate over and over and over again until our souls learn what we need to learn and so we can advance to the next quote unquote level, right? But again, we're infinite creators, creation. We've lived forever.
Mhm.
That's hard to believe, but I believe that light is eternal. I think once light is created and energy is created, it can neither be, what is it? Um, Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be transformed. And I think that we are being transformed and transferred through different experiences and different lenses. And you're learning what it's like to be creator through the lens of Tiffany. I'm learning what it's like to be the creator through the lens of Amber. And we have similar, adjacent, and different experiences. And narcissists in our life have come to teach us a whole lot because that narcissist, I know, girl, that narcissist came to teach us self-worth, self-love, so we would stop abandoning ourselves. And in doing so, we learned and we remembered and we were like, oh my gosh, thank you. You taught me who I really am. I was hiding in the shadows and I was a deeply hurt person and I oppressed my own self and you taught me how to get out. And it's hard. But do I think there's only 7 resets? I don't know. I think that I think that religion and certain storytelling has been used in different ways for manipulation and control as well. I think there's truth within spiritual beliefs and religion, but I also think that a lot is being hidden underneath the Vatican.
Mhm. See, I'm trying to so I'm one that I am a seeker of knowledge, and like, I've never been okay in a church. Like, I've tried multiple church. I went to my best friend, we used to go to her Catholic church, and I was sitting in the back like, "What is happening?" Like, no offense, please don't come at me, but, like, I'm like, what is happening? Like, this is not I don't feel God in here. Like, I don't know, it was weird. But, like, just so many different practices that I've seen people do, and this none of them resonated with me, and then I finally find God, like, in my bathtub in my car. Like, I feel like I'm gonna relate to more people because, like, there's so many people that don't like church. Like, God has a sense of humor. I'm allowed to cuss. I'm allowed to have bad thoughts.
Mhm,
I'm allowed to do these things. It's not about control. Like, God is within us, and once your kundalini, like, I don't full kundalini
mhm.
awake
Activates.
once
Mhm.
it activates, you just see things so differently. Like, I literally see my body as this meat suit, and it's like I get to go through different
Mhm.
meat suits in different places throughout whenever.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm understanding at this current point in time, which it could change, whatever, because I don't know much about the Bible. I know that I have my Bible, and God would had me go to pages, and then that certain thing, I was like, "Wait a minute." That's when I
Me
started
too.
thinking I
I
was
would
crazy.
just open it and I'm like, "Oh god, I guess we're learning about Job today. I'm in a very Joby season."
Joe's been coming
Like,
up a
but I
lot lately, the last 3 days. That and rabbits. A lot of rabbits have been showing up. That and the number
same for
13.
me.
You seen rabbits too?
The rabbits are abundance. That keeps popping up 3 times in the last week, and I was like, "Oh," yesterday during a therapy session, they're like, "Yeah, we saw little bunnies on our way to whatever," and I was like, "Well, that means abundance." So weird.
Okay, so we've got this little
Abundance comes
soul
in many
family going
forms.
on, and
Mhm.
all of us are talking about these rabbits, every one of us. So yesterday, my memory on Facebook was from 13 years ago. I took my niece and nephew to we have a little orchard here, and I took a picture of bunnies, and there was 13 of them. I was like, "That's funny. 13 years ago, 13 bunnies after I'm ending a 13-year cycle. Come on."
And interesting that the number 13 has been hijacked to be bad luck when really I think it's like a very divine feminine number.
Mhm.
I just think like the more you go through the awakening, you do go through rabbit holes. So I think that's probably part of this too, is we go through the rabbit holes of like learning the truth. But then you separate away from the conspiracy theories because you realize that they're not conspiracies, they're typically true. The CIA was like, let's call it a conspiracy theory back in the 50s and 60s because then that'll make people question things. Guys, just do your research on our country for the love of
I
God.
mean,
Be curious
seriously,
enough
we're
to
only
learn the truth
250
about our
years
country.
old. Only 250 years old in comparison, and y'all brainwashed in that a little amount of time. It's like, ugh, I wanna shake people.
Hold on. I don't know why I want to say this, but I am interested to see what you have to think about this. Okay. Are you on the TikTok side of TikTok where it's the kids who are in the GATE program, the
Yes.
gifted and talented program, and holy crap, what in the hell did they do to children when we were like young? Like I I was gifted and talented, but I wasn't for whatever reason. I wasn't in the GT or whatever, like getting taken out, but I remembered people getting taken out, and I was like, "Hold on, the pink fluoride. The kids are drinking the pink fluoride. They're having the audio test, like the
Headphones.
headphones when they're listening to things." And then there's some amazing creators on TikTok who are diving into like the real they found notebook. Someone smuggled out the notebook from being in the GATE program. And I was like, holy crap, they were literally looking for people like us. They were looking
They
for
were.
people who were gifted spiritually, who were empathic, who were neurodivergent, who could see through the veil. And they were actually using us to do all these like astral projections and like looking through the mirror and all the crazy things. Like my mind
My
was
ears ringing.
blown learning about what was happening. And our parents consented to
They
this.
didn't know though.
Like, no. No, but the Montauk Project and like Stranger Things, all of this is based in truth. Our country did this. Our country uses psychics and astral projectors to go and do these tests. Like they are very well known and famous.
Yes.
This is
My ears ringing.
real.
My
I'm
ears have been
sorry.
ringing
I'm very
nonstop since we've been talking. I'm sorry if anytime I'm doing this, I'm just like, and like sometimes it's the
confirmation,
left, sometimes
confirmation.
it's the right. Like, what do you want from me?
This is
Overload.
just real. I get so passionate about this and like being able to talk to somebody. Honestly,
No,
like
I
I kind of
love
forget
you.
that I'm podcasting and I feel like I'm on a fun FaceTime. So
Yes.
sorry for the audience. We're squirrels. We both have ADHD and we are having the best time right now.
I
So
need to get
follow
you in my
along or
group.
don't.
You'll love my little group. So like Sam, I met Sam. I'm sorry, people. I'm gonna call you out by name. Sam and Mark are like. There's others. Don't get me, I love you all, but listen, these two have been pillars for me right now, and I would just love for them to talk to you and tell you their story too if you'd ever
Come
want
on
them
the
on it.
podcast. Come on the podcast.
So
Like,
much
I
fun.
want to meet regular, schmegular people who were just regular, ordinary jobs who had an awakening. And I want to hear your story because the more we do this, the more we destigmatize the awakening, the more we're like, hey guys, like, I promise you've got like really cool special powers. They're called clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, and claircognizance. You are not going crazy. You literally are just waking up. And this is a very exciting time on earth. I'm
It is.
pumped.
It is. And like, I just get so frustrated because I see so many people who are not awake, and I'm like, I just want them to have fun like it is over here. Cause it really is like, I don't have the negative thoughts like I used to anymore. Like I get frustrated in things, but I don't have those thoughts that I used to have pre-awakening. And I think that is a huge part of why I think it's so amazing that it's happening and I get to be a part of it. Cause it's like people that know me will know my experience and they're gonna see me and be like, that's not who I remember. And it's like it's like a death and rebirth, literally, which can we mention that? I love that this is called
Yeah.
Riverside because I was born at Riverside Hospital, like literally in Columbus, Ohio. So when I saw that, I was like, we're talking about my like rebirth and it's on Riverside. I just love that. I love poetic things.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And I want to, I think this is a nice little segue into our next little topic is about the death and the rebirth of who you are and your ego and the ego deaths that we go through. You will always have an ego as long as you're a human because it's an identity that you possess. Like me being Amber, that alone is an ego. But I have died so many times while living. And it has been the most soul crushing experience of my life to be like, who I thought I was, the life I thought I would have is gone. And that feels like a death. Did you experience that?
So many times. That's why I was crying yesterday because something pops up. Like I'm a very emotional person. I'm a Cancer. I've known, like I said before, I wanted to be a teacher by the age of 5. I also knew that I wanted to be a mom. And I literally, that little girl in there, I prayed for 4 years for that little girl. Divine timing. She finally came. I had a horrible pregnancy. The doctors wouldn't listen to me. I switched doctors at 30 weeks. If he ever watches this, thank you for saving my life because I literally went to that visit and he was like, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go home, pack a bag, and meet me at the hospital. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you have preeclampsia. I didn't leave the hospital that I was going to, the doctors I was going to would not listen to me and my body. I was like, something is wrong. Like it took me 4 years to get pregnant. This pregnancy has not been normal. And like doctors wouldn't listen to me. And that's so frustrating to me that healthcare is that way because I know my body. I am in tune with my body. And if I'm saying that there is something wrong, there is something wrong because I do not like doctors. I do not like hospitals because they don't listen. They overcharge. There's how many doctors do I need to see? How many nurses do I need to see to repeat myself just for you to fill me with a bag of IV fluids and say, "Oh, you're fine." Like, I just
Mhm.
have so much trauma with healthcare. I have trauma with all sorts of stuff, and I just know I'm supposed to speak on all things. I know I went off on a tangent there. What was the original question?
Oh, girl,
With
ADHD
that
life
in mind.
for real. I support your tangent because I think that is an important topic that we can't come back to. But it was just about like the ego deaths and
Ego
like
death. Yes.
living different lives.
So I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be a mom. I wanted to be a wife. All of those things have been, well, apart from being a mom, but I do have to share my kid, which is really hard for me, which is what I broke down with yesterday because I don't even know if I can say this, but whatever. I was getting a divorce, and I told my ex-husband's attorney probably like I told mine, like, "I feel like this is divorce is more like a Walmart return where they want me to check boxes instead of listening to me that I dedicated my life to this." Like, my family's all in Ohio. I am only in Kentucky because of my daughter. Like, if I didn't have her, like, I would probably be somewhere else, but, like, she needs her father, and, like, building that co-parenting dynamic has been very difficult for me because of the ego death, because I saw my life as I I went to college, I said, "I'm gonna find me a country boy, I'm gonna get married, I'm gonna have a baby, I'm gonna be a teacher." I did all those things. I'm divorced,
Yeah.
I'm out of my house, I'm in a two-bedroom apartment, which kills me. This little guy stomps all the time. People around me rude, nosy, this and that. So, like, I'm hardly ever in my apartment, but that was by design because it allowed me to get out. Like, I used to stay at my house all the time and, like, I'd be out in the yard, I'd be building things, I'd be crafting, like, just living the 3D life. And God said, "Nope, your mission's way bigger than that." So it all got plucked
Yeah.
one by one. And it's just ego death after ego death of what I thought I had control of my life, and I know we have free will, but I very much feel like God's like, "Nope, you're on a big mission, and you're gonna go with it." So here I sit, ego death after ego death.
And I think that with every single ego death, you learn even a deeper part of your soul that was waiting to be found,
Mhm.
right? And I think that's where the liberation lives is letting go of the programming because really the ego that we build up into our 30s and
Yes.
40s is really just programming.
That
Agreements that we've made with other people. We've agreed with our parents who we are. We've agreed with our friends. We've agreed with our partners. We've agreed with our bosses. We've agreed with our colleagues. We've agreed with every single person who has told us who and what we are. And then we're like, we have these quote unquote midlife crisis at 40. And we're like, none of that shit resonates anymore. And I feel like I don't know who this is. How did I get here?
Mhm.
And I think that is the spark of an awakening.
Yeah.
And I call it a spiritual awakening because my God, I found God. But
Yeah.
for other people, it's just a deep, profound healing of letting go of childhood traumas, letting go of these self-limiting beliefs and I feel like it's a layer, Tiffany, an onion layer. Like
Mhm.
every single layer gets peeled back. I'm like, all right, that's it. That's it. And I'm like, where's the core?
Yeah.
And then I finally get to
The
the
soul.
core of who I am, the soul of who I am. And I was like, oh my God, my soul is so pure. And I have been hurt by so many people because I love people so much. Why do people keep hurting me and
That
leaving me and abandoning me and betraying me? Why? Oh, because they weren't meant to go where I'm going
that part.
next. They couldn't come with me. They would have hurt me more if I had reached my top level and they were there beside me. They would have taken advantage of my light. They would have used me and abused me more than they ever could have when I was a lower vibrational soul.
Mhm.
And God doesn't like that kind of crap. God is like, no, thank you. You can't go with her. She's a star. We all are the stars of our own life, but so many times we never lean into it.
Yeah.
We're too afraid of what people will think. And I am so far into my awakening, I do not care what you think about me. Like,
I
I
just
had
don't wanna
dinner
end up
last
in the
night.
loony bin. Don't send me there because I won't make it. I won't make it.
All the
Sam will get Sam, if you're watching this, if I ever end up in the loony bin, you have to come get me out. Because listen, I ended up with shingles the last time we were supposed to do this. So, okay, listen, it's still, like,
It's
whatever,
still
but,
there.
like, my whole thing was shingles. They put my butt in a triage room for 3 hours, and I felt like a caged animal in there. I was like, "I can't do this." Like, I can't. Like, I have to have air and space, especially when I'm getting all this information in. Like, it's just
Yeah.
I won't last in this. I won't last.
Yeah. Girl, I know. And, I just think like when we go through these awakenings and we heal and we find who we really are supposed to be, we go through purging. We go through physical purging, like you
Mhm.
experienced with the shingles. We go through emotional purging where we cry sacred tears and we go through rage and we go through all these different emotions because you have to clear the vessel.
Have
It is
to.
like packed with traumas, big T, little t traumas, just packed. Your body, your fascia, everything is holding it, right? And that's the physical experience of the fatigue, the exhaustion, the emotional overwhelm. Everything that people are feeling right now is because their bodies are saying no more
Yep.
and your body's begging you to listen.
Mhm.
Your
Well, look
body
at my
your body's
face.
giving
It's
you
so broke out. Like you said, like, I'm literally this is real life. Like, I'm
yeah.
premenopausal, like, getting ready to turn 41. I'm having all these realizations of, like, the world is not what they sold us, and it's like, I can't just sit
Mhm.
around and be part of it. So, like, I'm in my head a lot. I'm thinking about, like, what are we doing next? Who can I meet? Who can I talk to? Who can I be relatable with? Because I'm just a regular person who had a crazy experience and realized that I've had a lot of stuff that I'm supposed to talk about, a lot of experiences that I'm supposed to share. So it's just
How does it
exciting.
feel to be believed?
To be believed? Oh, it's the best feeling ever. Like, I literally so when I started doing my Akashic record readings, I was having all these past life visions. Like, I think I might actually be losing my mind. I can't tell a therapist this because when you start telling them you have visions of all these things, they're instantly like, we're too far into 3D, I think, still. Like, later on, it's going
Mhm.
to be fine. But like her hearing me, I was like, there's another human on this planet that doesn't think I'm crazy and can verify what I'm seeing in my mind. Cause there was so many times that like I would tell her someone, even someone like I worked with, and she could tell me what our soul contract with without just the name and it completely aligned. I'm like, okay, that's weird. And I was like, I need to do this again. And every single person that we went through, I was like, this is better than therapy because I'm understanding the soul contract. And that's
Mhm.
where I kept telling her, I was like, "My" and I don't think she's doing Akashic record readings anymore, she's, like, transitioned into something else, but at the time, I was like, "I've never been able to talk to a therapist or anyone who understands these visions that I'm having in my mind because they weren't awake." She was the first awakened person I spoke to, and just little bits of people, little bits and pieces of people I've recognized are awake, but, like, conversations with you, I've had maybe, like, 10 people out of all of these,
Mhm.
and it's been incredibly, incredibly reassuring. I'm like, "You're not losing your mind. You're just remembering a heck of a lot of stuff before other people do, and there's a reason for that." Like, I know I'm supposed to go kind of ahead of the game. That's why I was asking about if you what you thought about the 7 resets because in my mind, where I'm at in all of this information, I'm seeing it as a 7th reset because we've had different periods of time where people are can look at patterns now and you can
Mhm.
see where it went corrupt, what was controlling, and I just think there's this I don't know how to explain it, it's hard to articulate what I see in my mind. I just feel like this is one of the last ones where God's gonna really show off and, like, have people wake up that are remembering past lives that have been here multiple times doing a lot of big things, and I'm
Mhm.
just curious if there's other people out there that have had significant past lives that they're remembering.
Me. I have had some
You
past life
have?
regression. A lot of stuff from Egypt. I'm
Mm,
very tied
that's
to
the
Egypt.
one! Wait, what have you wait, what
Girl.
Egypt? Okay, let's see how excited I get. And then
A lot of us are tied to Egypt. There's a lot of
really?
the frequency and using the body to heal and remembrance and the sun and all of that. Like,
See?
I think that we are all fractals of this one, and the one will then you'll have the remembrance of this lifetime. And remember, like that movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I
It's all
couldn't watch
happening
all that. It
simultaneously.
tripped okay, so there's certain things that I have to turn off. There's certain books that are like Horcruxes. I was like, "Ah!" Like, I can't see it yet. Absolutely
But
not,
if
it's too
you
much.
can But if you can really think that time is not a line, it's not like 2,000 years ago and now, it is a spiral staircase, something that you can go up and down, but
Mhm.
you can access through the quantum, the quantum field, quantum entanglement. So you're like, I know that I can be there. Like I've had absolute insane, beautiful experiences of going back into Egypt when I'm in meditation. And there's so many of us who relate to Egypt and Isis and all of the different, and Hecate, all these different beautiful energies, even like Cleopatra for you, like the way that we are connected through time and space. I think it's absolutely ignorant to think that that there's more that we don't know. Like, let me just say
A
that. Like,
lot.
I think that's ignorant to think that there's more that we don't know. Like, if you think you know it all, you're absolutely wrong. That is ridiculous to have a notion to think that I know it all and you're wrong. No, you
Mhm.
don't. Absolutely no, you don't. I don't know it all. And I don't think humans have the capacity to know it all. And anything that we learn feels like magic because we can't understand it. If you were, thousands of years ago, and who knows about UAPs and what's really going on in Disclosure Day and all the things that are coming out and the way that they're just on the Capitol Hill, the stairs of Capitol Hill, openly talking about disclosure now and different species. Like, come on. Like, this is just happening. But if you saw something, an iPhone 100 years ago, you'd be like, that's magic. What's in her hand?
Mhm.
That's incredible. And I'm like, no, it's just technology. It's not magic.
Yeah.
But there's technology that we don't understand that's happened in the past that's going to be brought back. There's technology that has been hidden from us for which our governments absolutely have. And it
But
is insane for me, for
mhm.
anybody to think that our government is honest.
That part. They eat our
Like,
babies, come on, then joke about it that they taste like cream cheese, like or was it cream cheese they said? I don't know, it
yeah,
was
I don't it's so
disgusting, like,
gross, yeah. Yeah,
literally,
it's so
these people
gross.
are disgusting. If anybody wants to listen to
Yeah.
them versus moms like us that are talking about God and all this stuff, I can't understand why people would want to continue to listen to them and not revolt against it, I'm sorry, like,
And
it's
and
disgusting.
one small comment about that, because it is such a revolting conversation to think about what they have done, for the humans and trafficking and all those different types of things. But my daughter came downstairs one night after a lot of the big files were released, and she was crying. And I was like, "Baby, why are you reading this? Why do you stop?" She was like, "Mom, why are the adults not doing anything
Yes.
about it?" And I was said, I don't have an answer for you.
Yeah.
But I know that things are going to come out and then people are not going to have a choice. They're going to have to believe this. And the astrology of July of the Barbos basket, a French astrologer who predicted a lot of things, including the fall of the Soviet Union and COVID, that 2020 pandemic whole thing. And then what he has seen for 2026 is like this beautiful shift in human consciousness. And you're watching people wake up. They're showing us in our faces, like, this is really happening. And I'm sorry if it sounds a little extreme and you think that I'm a little bit weird. I embrace it and I don't care what you think about me.
Yeah.
And so I just want you to know, like, you're safe. Every single person who walks through the awakening, you're safe. Every single person who learns something that's horrifying, you're safe. This is our world, and our reality is not as we've been told. Period. But we're safe. We're sovereign, and the light has won. The light will always win. God will always prevail. And touch not my anointed, right?
Do my prophets
Like,
no
we
harm.
are here. We are here for a big reason, and we are here to be truth tellers. We're here to share our truths, and that's what Tiffany is so brave to do today. What I'm being brave each and every week and showing up and sharing my truths alongside my guests. Like, this is real. It's the realest thing that we've ever experienced ever in our lives. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Right. This
Absolutely.
is this is reality. Like, being awake and remembering that is reality. So I'm just so excited and so honored to have you on the podcast,
Thank
Tiffany.
you.
And I always try to, ask the same question at the end is, what advice do you have for an awakened or awakening soul as they navigate this experience?
Be open-minded. Don't get too scared if you hear or see something, like, seek knowledge, try to find your soul tribe because I'm convinced we all come in with soul tribes.
Mhm.
Groups of souls that travel and do different things and have different roles. Like there's people that I'm connected with now that I've had past life connections with in different capacities. And I'm like, that's really cool. I have a lot of stories about that. I'm going to be starting my own podcast talking about a lot of my stories and having people on too. Because there's so much to talk about. Like I feel like this went really, really fast. I'm like, but wait, that was like 1%. Like there's so much to
I know.
say. There's so much. But yeah, just don't feel like you're going crazy. Embrace it. Know that we are in a time that is everything's changing, everything's shifting. But luckily, if you want to seek knowledge, it will be there.
Absolutely. Where can people find you?
I am starting my TikTok. I'm actually starting this podcast. I think it's just Tiffany.Dotson is it's got like Tiff and a little B. I've not posted like much because I have been essentially under gag order in public education, but I'm here to expose a lot of things and not just education. Like I know I'm wearing this because this is a hot topic right now. But we are shifting from what this is into what's coming, and I'm excited about what's coming.
I'm so excited and I'm so thankful for your time and for your truth telling and for your bravery to just to be here today and to show up, even despite the tech issues that we had, like left, right, and center, and the shingles and everything. Like, you showed up, you were here, and I'm just so, so incredibly grateful for knowing you.
Thank
So
you. I'm
thank you,
grateful for
Tiffany.
you, and thank you for all that you're doing because, like, people like you are gonna make people like me feel more comfortable speaking my truth, and I think that's really how all of this just blossoms.
Absolutely. And as a reminder, when I heal, you heal. When you heal, I heal. And we all heal, we rise. We build a new earth together. This is really happening, friends. The next 6 to 12 months are going to
Yes.
be wild. There's going to be a lot of things that are shifting and changing. And don't be scared as they do. They must. We are safe. We are here. We are one. And together we rise. Until next time, bye.